When I look at this face and I see the joy, I want to capture it into my own characters with force drawing. I see that the smile pushes the cheeks up, so it's exerting applied force on the eyelids, which in turn pushes lower eyelids up and make them puffy. Nothing works in isolation, especially on the face. The mouth, cheeks, and eyelids are connected. This explains why they're shaped the way they are. And this interaction seems to be a key ingredient in a joyful face. And I'm seeing the familiar forces at the lips, which I talked quite a bit about in my previous video. Even though the forces are the same, this time the forces move more quickly, because the mouth corners are being pulled so tightly. Notice how on the smiling mouth on the right, the forces feel straighter, and the distance between them is much narrower, because they're zipping through more quickly, which makes the lips feel tight. So that's another key ingredient of a joyful face. Keep in mind that I haven't been copying the reference. Instead, I was trying to figure out how forces in different parts of her face work together in this expression. Before I show you how to apply this to your own characters, I want to say that this is what we teach at drawingforce.com. And our founder teaches these techniques at Disney, Pixar, Riot Games, and others. For a one-on-one mentorship with me or any of the other Force instructors, head over to drawingforce.com, where you can even just take self-paced courses. It's easy to get started drawing with Force right away. Force is the blueprint behind great entertainment art. Now that we learned how to extract the key ingredients of a joyful face using Force, I'd love to show you how I took these ingredients and adapted them to my own characters. When I heard the word joy, I thought about this spunky pirate character who has sailed across many seas and battled countless foes, and he finally found the legendary lost treasure. He is ecstatic. I wanted a face that screams excitement, maybe even bordering frenzy, with a drop of mischievousness. It's a maniacal joy. To achieve the look of excitement and frenzy, I made his mouth very open. Notice that in my sketch, I brought over the same lip forces from the study, but amped up the tightness. This gives the impression that the lips are really being stretched, both upwards and downwards. I also really pushed up his lower eyelids, which was another key ingredient in a joyful face that we saw in the study earlier. To both enhance the look of excitement and convey a hint of mischievousness, I gave him a downward pull at the head of the brows. This was not in the study. It's a creative liberty I took just for this character. Without this pull, he looks completely different. Joyful, sure, but instead of mischievous, he's relaxed and innocent, ready to frolic in a field of flowers. Definitely not what I want for this character. I think joy can also come in a more painful flavor. Another character I thought of for this video was this young boxer, who is quietly experiencing layers of emotions after a boxing match. He's happy that he won, but he's also grieving all the sacrifices he made and challenges he had to overcome to get here. It's still mostly joy, but it's seeping out through his aching body and exhausted mind. I'll call this Battered Joy. Since it's still mostly joy, I kept the smile, but unlike with the pirate character, I kept his jaw closed because this is a quieter joy. Since the smile is still there, the cheeks and lower eyelids are again pushed up. To convey a hint of grief and exhaustion, I pushed up the head of his eyebrows. This is the opposite of what I did with the pirate character. To emphasize the aching and exhaustion, I gave him wounds, blood, and wet, clumpy hair, implying that he's sweaty. Again, I didn't just copy the same face I studied. I took the forces I learned from my study and modified them to suit my needs for each character. Human emotions are not discrete like an on and off switch. They flow in a spectrum and come in all sorts of different flavors and nuances, as we just saw with my two characters. And what allows me to do this freely is my understanding of force, form, shape, and anatomy. I mainly talked about forces today because it's the first step. But if you want to learn about any of these topics, you can take online lessons at drawingforce.com, as well as one-on-one mentorships with Mike, myself, or other trained Force instructors. See you in the next video!